Hey Regicide, in the 12 Days of Christmas video, I mentioned Epiphany. And Epiphany starts January 6th, and it comes from the Greek word meaning to appear. Um, and what it celebrates the three wise men coming to deliver presents to the baby Jesus. So in some cultures, you open presents on Christmas. In some cultures, they open them on January 6th, Epiphany, when the wise men showed up. Now, Jesus was born in Bethlehem, little town in Israel. And the wise men are thought are from the east. And that's all they're really described as. It's typically assumed that they were probably from Persia, um, which is modern day Iran. So that's a long, long walk. And they saw a star in the sky, and they saw this star, and there was like, a new king has been born in Judea, which was one of the words used to describe the country, the land that is now Israel. Uh, there's whole bunches of politics about what you call a particular piece of land. But anyway, so they came from Iran, probably. There are some people who say they came from as far as China, because China had this big astrology thing going as well. So these were people who were watching the sky, were learned, studied men. And so they had read these scriptures and they had read these things, prophecies saying that there will be a king born in this area at some point. And they saw this weird star, something they had never seen before. And they decided to set off to go find Jesus. And January 6th is the day that they celebrate. So, three wise men. Not necessarily three, because in the Bible it just says wise men. It could be three, could be two, could be 60. But they bring three gifts, which is why everyone assumes three guys. There's at least two of them, and they brought three things. Three. They brought gold, frankincense, and myrrh. And you're like, okay, I know what gold is. Gold's like bling, jewelry. Frankincense is a mixture of spices that people would go and burn like incense, frankincense. So it's a particular mixture of incense that people would burn as kind of a ritual offering, and it smells great. So that was one of the things. And the third thing was myrrh. Now, myrrh is a crystal that is harvested off of the acacia tree. So how sap comes out of trees? Well, the acacia tree produces this hard, really fragrant resin, and it was used for embalming, oftentimes in the distant past. So you have these three people, sometimes described as kings, sometimes described as wise men. The term used was magi, plural for magus, wizard, where we get the word magic from. So you have these three wise men, magi, who came from the east to give gifts to the newborn king. And the gifts were all symbolic, because Jesus was prophet, priest, and king. The gold was the king. The incense was of what the priest would burn as a sacrifice, burn as part of the sacrifice. So the gold is the king, the incense is the priest, and the myrrh refers to the prophet, because while it smells really nice, it's also used for embalming, and prophets were often almost universally met bad ends. There are very few prophets that had a happy ending in their lives. But so they brought the three gifts, and they came and they worshiped baby Jesus. And most people think that he was probably a year or two old, because when he showed up, when they showed up, they went to the royal palace and they talked to Herod the king. And there's like two or three Herods that ruled over Judea. There was Herod the Great and then his grandson. And so in the Bible, you see King Herod and you see him dying, and then you see him ruling. And it's Herod 1 and Herod, I can't remember what they called the other Herod. I'd look them up maybe for Easter time. But anyway, so they went to King Herod, and he's like, no, we don't have a king. You find him. I want to worship him. And they were warned by an angel, yeah, no, don't trust Herod. So they booked, and Herod did horrible things, but Jesus got out safely and ran away to Egypt. But that's the Epiphany story. It's the three wise men coming and bearing gifts. So it's the appearance. As I said, Epiphany means to appear. So that is the first real acknowledgement. I mean, you had Jesus being born, and Joseph and Mary knew it was good, because, they'd been told by angels. You had the shepherds show up, but, they're shepherds, and nobody listens to shepherds. The boy who cried wolf was a shepherd, so, they're shepherds. But, here we have people who are learned and respected. And so this was when they showed up. And so that is January 6th, or Epiphany. Anyway, Regicide, talk to you later.